Eyes on Me is directed by Benny Boom, written by Jeremy Haft, Eddie Gonzalez, starring Demetrius Shipp Jr. as Tupac Shakur, Denai Guerrera as Afeni Shakur, Jamal Woolard, I think. I'm sorry, I forgot his name, but he's the one that played Biggie. The movie is about the biography of the legendary Tupac Shakur. It just goes through about his life and his career, starting in the 80s all the way to his death in Las Vegas. If that's a spoiler alert, I'm sorry, you've been living under a rock. So I think you should already know that that's some kind of ghetto Titanic shit that everybody knows that Tupac dies at the end of the movie. If you didn't know that Tupac dies at the end of the movie, then I don't know what the hell you were doing. You were even if you were born back into before 1997, you should have already know who Tupac was. Or even if you were born after 1997, you should have known that Tupac died because he was that legendary. Thank you. So the story is really about his career as a rapper, starting back in the late 80s all the way to the late 90s. Good things about the movie was it was very nostalgic. The beat to it was very good. The music brought me back into the 90s. And also, I would say one to two actors were pretty compelling. Demetrius Shipp Jr., he did really good. He looked like Tupac, he acted like Tupac, moved like Tupac. But the problem was that he only carried one tone of Tupac. Seeing tons of videos about Tupac and also other videos and also reading his other biographies and looking at other documentaries, Tupac was a very, very complex man, and the movie trying to portray him as this one-tone character did not really work at all. He was more of, in real life, he was more of like a philosophical rapper. He talked about life, he talked about love, he talked about anything that he was suffering through or the people that he was representing suffering to, and that's something that made him into a revolutionary rapper. The movie didn't really show any of that, or it didn't emphasize into it, or it didn't I didn't really feel into it. If they were trying, I'm sorry I didn't see it. I mean, the music was good. The music was really good because it was Tupac who made all these songs famous. Only thing is that when the popular music came out, it just looked like another music video. They said all the name of the actor, who edited, who directed it, and all that kind of stuff like that. That should have been left out from a movie because you just it was like, am I watching a music video or am I watching a movie? Denai Guerrera, she did a phenomenal job. Was more interested into her story just because of her dramatic performance, the kind of pain and suffering that she carried through. Um, Throughout her life. That story is something that I would like to watch. Although she's not like this big iconic character, she is a great character study. Problem with the movie was the script. The script didn't really follow through. It kind of didn't flow through the life of Pac. A whole movie, the character was just one monotone into this thug life kind of mentality. There was no build up, or wasn't really a coming of age, because we do see Pac in his late teens into his 20s. I'm pretty sure there could have been like some kind of like character development issues or character development stories that could happen with him, or one of those rain down the roof splitting into like aha moment for him, but that didn't really show anything throughout the movie. He was just like one monotone guy, thug life, F you, F the whole system. The character didn't really uh, compel to me. He looked like him though. He did look like Tupac. I thought it was a CGI version of him, or that like that's Tupac's long lost son, but this guy just looks like Tupac, and he carried it pretty well with the mannerisms and the way how he was walking and the way how he was, smiling. It just looked like him. It was just blowing me away. The editing was horrible. One scene carried from one emotion to another emotion, didn't really kind of tie that together. One point was like a melancholy moment with another actor, and then a heightened emotion with another character. It's like it just didn't tie pretty well. But towards the second act and towards the in the beginning of the third act, it kind of tied a little bit. And what kind of helped it was probably there was a lot of footage going on with Tupac, with all of his publicity that was going on, and it just seemed like the director or the people that were creating the movie just kind of copied what happened, and they could use the old videos as a resource of how things were going. So that was the only thing that was like, kind of kept me watching the movie, was because of that part. But overall, throughout the whole movie, it was kind of choppy. Editing was just like one scene after another scene after another scene that didn't kind of really tie up together. And it got me lost of who Tupac was, because it was just watching one scene after another scene, and there was no kind of character arc that was going on where you kind of see like, oh, there was a moment of reflection or a moment of intuition from the character. The story between Biggie, it was just like, oh, we're friends, but it didn't kind of build up that little East Coast West Coast rivalry. It did somewhat towards the end of that storyline between Biggie and Pac, but it wasn't really emphasized as big as it was back in the past. Like how I did when I think I was like 13 years old, 12 years old when that shit was going on. The ending, it was just like a normal ending. Everybody knows he dies, but it didn't really show you kind of what we were thinking about, like who did who and the witnesses and all that kind of stuff that happened in the past. So that was kind of disappointing. Like, oh, he just got shot, and then boom, end credits. So much respect. I'm a Tupac fan, but I feel like the way how this movie was constructed and made, it felt very rushed, and there wasn't really any time to think about. I'm not sure if that was like the studio pushing the directors, or pushing the creators of the movie to kind of put it out there for this year, but I felt like there could have been more time crafting the character, finding an actor that had different ranges. Although the guy did look like Tupac, um, and I just found out today that that was his first role. A more experienced actor could have worked out. My name is Lawrence. This is my first YouTube movie review. If you like here, please subscribe or comment below, and hopefully I'll hear from you soon.